This is Cowboy Jim with AAA Painting Corp. We're in Johnstown, Colorado in April of 2020, kind of during the whole COVID shutdown process. I apologize if you hear a little wind in the video. Got a little video wind today, but in any event, we're at a Stucco home that we had just got done working on for several weeks. There's a lot of detail that goes into doing these types of homes. One of the more challenging things we had here is we had a lot of woodpeckers that have been damaging the corbels on this house. So we've repaired the corbels with a very strong wire mesh, re-stuccoed, refilled the corbels, and then we have found some woodpecker deterrent items here that you can kind of see that are hanging there. We were able to attach those. They don't have to stay on permanently. We can always come and remove those when the woodpecker seasons kind of pass by. But this house here had a darker color on the body of the home. We lightened this to another color. It turned out we ended up using 2 coats of paint, and then chose this nice dark color for the accent colors on the garage door as well as the front door there that you can kind of see. That color is called brown sugar, by the way. It's a really awesome color. A lot of people like that. We've been using that for years. So if you're looking for a nice dark brown, that's a great color. It's made by Benjamin Moore. You'll see a new number sign on there. I found that at the Lowe's store. Really like those. They have a couple different versions of those, and I'm just going to kind of walk around and show just our attention to detail. You know, downspouts always come off the house, any house that we are taking care of. That way you get the paint behind it. Nice straight margin lines on all the trim outs all throughout the house. And this house is very deceptive. As we walk towards the backyard here, you're going to see that there is a little bit of height to this, a lot higher than it looks. But you'll see he's got corbels all over the home that ended up having to be fixed up. Just about every one of these needed some form of repair. This entire neighborhood in Johnstown is kind of infected with woodpeckers, and they're making nice big holes in the stucco homes and other sided homes, but mostly it's the stucco that they like to get in there, and they like to get all the styrofoam that's behind it and make a nice hole for other birds to come back and nest. But you can again see where all that's happened here. But this is a very tedious process. You're going to see right now that in certain areas on the stucco it looks a little shiny, like it hasn't dried. Well, technically it hasn't. For stucco like this, it's probably going to take a good 2-3 weeks before some of that settles down. But we use what's called a low luster formula on this, so it doesn't really have much of a sheen. A lot of guys use flat. I don't really prefer flat on the stucco because I feel we need to have a little resiliency to the UV exposure, so to have a little bit of sheen in there isn't a bad thing. But you know, that sheen spots, or those high spots that you see every now and again, will settle out in the next couple of weeks as it gets more sun and drying time and so forth. But you know, it's a sponge, you know, and certain parts of the sponge get real dry and the other parts stay wet for a while, and that's just kind of how you have to look at it. So but you know, there's a lot of detail when we go through these where you have to mask around all the trims. You have to mask this entire soffit line with plastic before you put the paint on them. That's a very, very tedious process to do that. To put 24 inches of plastic, or even at least 12 inches of plastic up and around the soffit areas, and wrap that around to the fascia. Otherwise, when you're spraying the paint, you're going to get overspray. Even if you try to use shields or other types of media, that's really not going to work. And what made it a little bit more fun on this home, you might have been able to see, well, I guess you can't see it from this side, but the roof line that they have on this home is that kind of adobe brick material. You can see roofs over on that part of the neighborhood. They've all got these roofs. They're very, very slick, very hard to walk on, and a lot of those tiles are broken from the sun. The sun beats on them so hard, and they just shatter. So we've actually had to go through on this roof and actually use a really strong construction glue to kind of glue them back together and reattach them, because we're not sure exactly where to get that particular make, model, and color of this roof. So trying to save them a little expense by not having to, you know, replace the entire roof, which I'm pretty sure these roofs are good, 20 grand or so. They're not cheap. They're supposed to be impervious to hail, but obviously nobody thought about the UV exposure and how hot the sun gets in Colorado. So I'm not sure if this is something that roofers are going to be using long term. But you also see here some new lights we put on the house. That was just something they purchased, and as a usual thing, we'll put those in for you. I showed them the LED lighting that we can put up. These are much nicer. They last virtually for 20 years from what they tell us, and it gives you much better lighting. And if you chose to keep those on 24 hours a day, it might burn up $1 of energy cost on your electric bill per month. So sometimes we put those in, people will opt to leave those on day and night. And of course we did the same type of bulb structure, LED bulb in the light fixture. So again, if you have us come out to do lighting for you, I'd recommend that, and then you can just keep them on every day if you want, or whatever you want to work out with. But anyway, once again, this is Cowboy Jim, AAA Painting Corp, and we hope to be working for you in the future.